Monday. It is November 4th, an incredibly important week that we're going into this week with huge economic news. We got the election tomorrow. Will we get a decision on that? What is the volatility going to be doing over this week? What can we do to set ourselves up for success, being on the right side of the trend? We're going to be breaking all this down and more. And I got some incredible charts I have to break down with you. And hey guys, it's Monday. Let's start this week with gratitude. Let's start with positivity. Let's make sure we have an action plan and get involved in our future. We're going to get this music pumping. We're going to get this going. I hope you're all having an absolutely wonderful start to your week. And with that being said, let's go ahead and vibe. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell, because we got to get this going.
Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. SEC and its policies rely on whatever Gary thinks. Bitcoin's a flight to quality. I heard that from Larry Fink. Every hour losing purchasing power on foolish out there. It's not our fault. Blame the cult. It's the political cowards. When it comes to gas, our purchasing power just got cut in half. I sit back and laugh, open my bag, fill it with stacks and sats. Bitcoin, pumping, altcoins, pumping. I've been preparing for this. Can't tell me nothing.
And I believe crypto will play that type of role as a flight to quality. We are hearing from clients around the world.
Bitcoin, altcoins, I've been preparing for this.
And I believe crypto will play that type of role as
Bitcoin, altcoin,
we are hearing from clients around the world.
Can't nobody tell me nothing.
Crypto, depending on how you think about it. And I believe crypto will play that type of role as a
Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin,
we are hearing from clients around the world.
It's time to get into it, everybody. Make sure you're retweeting this over on the Twitter live stream. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you head over to @Kellam or @Academy BitLab. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, retweet. We got a giveaway we're doing today as well for all of you that participate. But we got to dive in. We got some charts to look at. So I want to see a bunch of bulls in the chat, in the live chat here. Comment down below if you're watching, or comment in the live comment there if you're watching on Twitter. But let's get into it. We got to start this with some data. So let's do it. What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are tuned in from. It is Monday, November 4th, the day before the election and the week of some of the most important economic news. We got a potential rate cut that's happening on Thursday. What does that mean for the markets? And what did I tell you all on Friday before we dove in here, before we dove into this chop on the weekend? I talked about a lot about that chop that we would likely see over the weekend. And we saw exactly that. In fact, price came right down. Look at this, bouncing off this level that we've had mapped out since all the way back here about the third week of September. All the support, resistance, support. Are we going to break through it below? Well, maybe there's going to be a sign or a signal that is going to indicate that that's going to happen. We're going to talk about that. We got a lot of other things we're going to look at. Now, if this is your first time here, welcome to the BitLab Academy daily stream. My name's Kellam, and I'm here to start your week with gratitude. I'm here to start it with a positive community. This is that place where you get meaningful tools, content, resources, and again, a community that's going to help rise all the tides so we can raise all ships. That's what we're here for. So big love to each and every one of you. But let's start first. We just had Halloween this last week. And of course, there's a lot of Halloween shenanigans going on over the weekend. I hope you all had fun, whether or not you're out there dancing with the skull on your face, spinning fire and dancing with fire on stage, whatever you're doing. Maybe you're just sitting at home watching these charts. I hope you were able to break free of this crypto world. We got to make sure we keep our lives in balance because this is exciting, but do not let the rest of your life fall out of balance because that's what we're doing this for, right? We're doing this to help it improve the life and the access of those that are friends and family, neighbors, strangers. We want to be better so that we can offer more to the people around us. That's what I'm in this for. So shout out to our channel partners, our channel sponsors, Arculus. You can see, make sure, head over to getarculus.com and use that code BitLab so you can make sure you are protecting yourself. Of course, nordvpn.com/BitLab if you want to get 4 months free and also make sure you're protecting yourself. Then, of course, CoinW, our basically our trusted exchange partner, where we got that free traders group set up. Hope you're all doing well. We've had some trades been posted in there over the weekend and a lot of people making money. So let's dive into what's going on, because we see the price action right now coming into a level that we've been talking about for some time. We have one of the most anticipated breakouts in history on the horizon. The question is going to be, is it going to be essentially accelerated tomorrow with the Donald Trump win? Is it going to be, will it be accelerated if Kamala Harris wins? Will it be delayed? Either way, the pressures in the market suggest that up is next in the very near future. Do not get caught in the emotional chop that this market is it's doing everything it can to move your capital from your impatient hands to people that are patient. So the question is, are you going to be one of those people that is acquiring and improving your positions in this market? Or are you going to be triggered emotionally and losing capital? Because I'm in this to change my life. So I don't need to take a swing at every single little move in the market. We wait for the setup and we strike when the iron's cold and not when the iron's hot. So let's talk about it, because we got the markets kind of chopping around, and we were up over 2.44 trillion only a few days ago. We're still sitting here about 2.24 trillion. I do believe that we are building that base for that next leg up. In fact, we can see right now, most of the things are green here on the daily chart. We come down to the hourly and we're getting that choppiness, but we got a lot of things we got to pay attention to this week. In fact, we just saw 725 billion. Bernstein, which is a pretty reputable financial asset manager, predicts Bitcoin to hit 200K by 2025. Now, the problem with this, I want you all to realize this is bullish, but everybody sees this and they wonder why. Maybe in the next week, maybe in the next hour, maybe anytime in the next near term, if the price goes down, they think this is just a hopium thing. Do not get blinded by the hopeful and likely projections that some analysts can discuss and bring forward, and realize that it's not up only. We have to do a lot of work between now and then. We have to build that stairway to heaven. So we need to make sure that if this is the case, whether it's 140 or 340, let's just call it 200 right here in the middle, there's going to be movement between now and then. There's going to be opportunities that present themselves. So let's not get blinded by impatience. Let's take advantage of the market as it presents itself. Now, continuing on, Cartwright, a multi-billion-dollar UK pension fund, just announced a 3% Bitcoin allocation. This is the domino I think we're going to see more and more of over the next 2 to 5 years, meaning not only institutions, but pension funds. What do you call them? Not equities. What do you call it with like Harvard, Columbia, endowments? That's the word I'm looking for. Endowments. We just saw Emory University just did a pretty substantial allocation of their endowment to Bitcoin. We just saw the pension fund for Florida. Also, the one of their top level executives was recommending Bitcoin be added. We see, I believe it's Wisconsin. There's so many different of these large financial players, pension funds, institutions, corporations, balance sheets of major players and balance sheets of major millionaires and billionaires out there are steadily starting to increase more and more over time. So we need to make sure that we are ahead of this curve. We understand what our goals are, and we can basically act first and have those major profits later. But it all depends on how you interact with your investments over a good period of time. But remember, guys, we talk about money. We talk about crypto. We talk about how politics but at the end of the day, we want a happy life, right? We want to be a positive impact to those around us. We want to make sure that in reality, I don't want money. I want the freedom of my time. And in this case, we're in front of one of the best opportunities of our lifetime. So why mess it up with every little movement in the market and have so much anxiety about what's going on? If you have a healthy plan, if you have a healthy strategy, and you have the courage and the patience to see those things through, I think you're going to be doing quite all right going into next year. So let's continue on here. And before we continue, I do want to just again shout out if you are wherever you're watching, because we've got, let's see, we've got a couple hundred people watching between YouTube and Twitter. We got a giveaway we're doing later on today. We do it every week, and it's all comes down to those of you that see this on my Twitter here at Kelly Kellam or at Academy BitLab. Hit that retweet, hit that like button. We randomly pick a day. We randomly pick a person from each of those from the day and the retweeters to do a giveaway. So I want to see two numbers. I want to see a number that's between 6 and 12, and I want to see a number between 15 and 30. Whatever the first two numbers are, they're going to be the numbers I write down. We're going to use that to do some math to pick a random person, and we'll do that at the end of the stream. So shout out to everybody that's here. It's Monday. Let's have a big, bright smile on our face. Let's call somebody we haven't talked to in a while. Let's make sure we're staying in tune with what's going on in this market, and we're going to continue on right now. So for next thing up right here, this is what we're waiting on. Again, regardless of what candidate you're picking, everybody's picking it for different reasons. I can't hate on you whether you like this person or that person, but when we look at this chart, we're seeing the last three elections and how the price action responded post-election. Now, remember, this is also tied into, let's see, we got some numbers. Let me write them down. 7 is the first number and 22, second number. Awesome. So we're going to use those to pick a winner at the end. Now, looking at this, remember, we have the election, but the election cycle is also perfectly lined up with the global liquidity cycle, which is also perfectly lined up with the Bitcoin halving cycle. And we all know we've been talking about this since April 19th when we had the last Bitcoin halving. We discussed roughly about 160 to 180 days, we would likely see the next major move. And when we look at this and how it's overlaid on the charts, this is that bar right here, this vertical bar with the shaded area. This is that time. On this date, we posted this talking about this is when we'll likely see some resolution back to the upside. And what do you know? You see price action pumping into it, little sell-off, pumping into it, little sell-off, just exactly as we like to see. We want to see the stairway to heaven. Little chop up, retest, up, test, continuation. That's what we're looking at right now. We see currently all we've basically potentially broken out of this pattern, came down, retested this, moved back up. We still have that time of what's the certainty about the election. And then we have this retest right back into this zone again. We need to watch this like a hawk over this next week, because not only do we have the election tomorrow, when is the election going to be actually be announced the winner? It could be tomorrow night, like it should be. It could be Wednesday. It could be later this week, because some of these election deadlines in various states go all the way out to like November 12th. So that uncertainty, if we don't get a clear answer, will likely cause some volatility in the charts and likely to the downside if that happens. Does that mean it's over? No, it means we need to be aware of the likely volatility so that we don't get emotionally triggered when it happens. We're here to make money, not be anxious and jumping at every opportunity only to chop ourselves out. But as it stands right now, we have higher, low, higher, low, higher, low, higher, low. Nothing's changed so far. This is just the uncertainty, hedging, a little over leverage leading up to one of the biggest decisions that helps basically bring certainty to markets. Again, doesn't matter really who wins. When we look at what's going on with the correlation between Bitcoin and S&P 500, we can see this has had a pretty strong bullish divergence moving up while Bitcoin was flat. And now we're getting a little bit of a sell-off. And ultimately, what the markets like the best, what's the most influential to markets, is not who the exact president is. It's not, will we be in war, will we not? It's the uncertainty that certain geoeconomic, geopolitical, and just data suggest about what's going to be the likely path forward for investors feeling safe or not. Is it going to be risk on or risk off? As it stands right now, we're getting a little bit of a sell-off and Bitcoin's holding up fairly well. So let's see how this plays out this week, because things are setting up, I still believe, that at the end of this year, we will be significantly higher than where we're at now. When we're at sometime in April through the end of the summer next year, we're going to have astronomically higher prices in a lot of the assets that we're holding. But we're seeing this. And I want you to notice election, election, election. The price never came back to this level. The price never came back to this level. The price never came back to this level. Almost did here. Came down to like 15.5, but it did not get all the way down. So will we see price action on Bitcoin never come back to the price that it is at here, wherever this price is tomorrow or throughout this week when the determination of the election is set? Now, I'm not a super political person, but when I'm looking at markets, I'm looking for where's the uncertainty, where is the certainty, where do certain regulatory stances lie with the various different assets I'm holding. In this case, Bitcoin and crypto are very much on the docket for what people are considering about the path forward in crypto after this election. What's the regulatory support or suppression going to come from the next administration? That's why there's a little bit of uncertainty that we've seen over the last few months, because this is the first election cycle where Bitcoin and crypto has been discussed in the discourse and in the different political agendas of the various candidates. So for any of you that are like, why? Yeah, believe me, can I tell you something? I am so ready. I'm so ready for this election season to be over, regardless of what direction it goes. I'm ready for my news feed on Twitter. I'm ready for my the discourse of just friends and out and all these advertisements. I'm ready for this nonsense to be over so we can get back to living, so we can get back to not being divided by this political discord that is driven by the propaganda machines of mainstream media and the various algorithms and the bubbles that we live in. And we like, how could you think that? It's like, because they got a whole fucking different algorithm that's supporting a whole different set of ideas and facts. That's one thing we all need to remember when we're talking about these things. Whether or not you think by all the facts you've seen, this is the only candidate, you have to realize, step out of the arrogance for a moment and realize whether or not that's true. People that are coming from the other side, they have an entirely different bubble of information that's making you seem like an idiot because they have entirely different facts that they're seeing. They're not just ignoring the facts you see, they're seeing entirely different facts. So let's bring some unity back, because at the end of the day, we need to really govern our local populace, our local circles, the way we engage with the world. We all think that it's becoming less respectful. We all think that it's becoming dirtier. It's more. Let's engage in love in everywhere we go, regardless of all this nonsense division that we have, because that's what I'm about, man. I'm about let's grow together. Let's screw all this political divide. But getting back into it, we got to talk about some charts, man, because we got some other things we got to look at as well. And that is, we got that FOMC meetings happening the 6th and the 7th, the day after the election. And then the day after that, Thursday, will we get that next Fed rate cut? And how will markets respond to it? Now, do remember, a lot of people have been discussing this for the last year or so, year and a half, since we really started getting cuts. But about this idea, will the cuts actually result? Is it because something's broken? Will it actually result? Everybody initially thinks it's so bullish, it's going to set the markets free. Will it result in a pretty substantial pullback in the stock market? And if that happens, is Bitcoin, not even crypto, and yes, Bitcoin is a crypto, but I think of Bitcoin as a standalone asset, then I think of altcoins that the crypto market is an entirely different beast. Bitcoin is entrenched now. The fact that we have these Bitcoin spot ETFs, the fact that we have Michael Saylor buying $40 million worth of Bitcoin a day for the next 1,095 days, the fact that we've had 300 days, the average purchase price, the purchase amount of Bitcoin through BlackRock, just BlackRock spot ETF has been about $101 million a day. That's $141 million a day buying pressure that we're going to be seeing moving forward. And the question is, has it even begun yet? That sounds so high, right? The interesting point here is that this is all the super early front runners on the corporate side and the big money side, the traditional asset side. So yes, I'm excited about the money that's been flowing into crypto. The question is going to be: is this about to accelerate in ways that we can't comprehend, or is it going to be suppressed by further regulation by enforcement and self custody issues? We got to talk about it. We got to be prepared. Now, continuing on. This is that inflow. Look at the average net flows by price range. And look at this. Spot ETF demand increases with price. The more that it's almost a FOMO factor. The more the price starts to push, will we see a huge swing up in terms of the capital flow, the net flow into Bitcoin? And don't forget, we're specifically speaking here about spot ETFs, but we also have a couple major things happening that first 2 weeks of December, which is the $16 billion in assets, $16 billion in assets, stablecoins from FTX, from their collapse 2 years ago. That's starting to get redistributed to people that were holding money in FTX that have their capital there. These are crypto focused people that have had $16 billion sidelined. Now, will we get 100%? I've talked about this. No, I don't think so. I think even if we say it's 50%, that's $8 billion coming back in the market. My expectation is it'll probably be somewhere in the 70 to 85% range of that will get redistributed into buying pressure back into the crypto market. In addition to that, we have the fair value accounting rules that are going live around the second week of December as well, which is perfectly aligned with that next shareholder meeting at Microsoft, where they're basically voting. All the shareholders are voting. Do we have a Bitcoin strategy? Are we holding Bitcoin on our balance sheet? They have $75 billion in cash on hand right now. How much of that, if they do vote for Bitcoin holding, how much of that will be represented and allocated towards holding Bitcoin on their balance sheet? Now, the other question there is, because we had the fair value accounting stuff that's going live, will it specifically just be Bitcoin spot ETFs like IBIT or ARK Invest or Van Eck, so on and so forth, Fidelity? Or will it be a combination of that and actually buying Bitcoin on OTC or off the open market? Because now they're going to be able to do that because of these fair value accounting rules. And remember, when Microsoft, if they do add Bitcoin to their balance sheet, that will absolutely be an incredible buoy to Bitcoin price, regardless of what it's doing. And it puts every other major tech company out there on notice to ask themselves, hey man, what is our Bitcoin strategy? Do we have one? How are we going to allocate? What are we going to do with all this cash on hand? Because there's a lot of companies out there with a lot of cash on hand right now. And it's becoming the increasing paradigm shift of companies as to, do you have a Bitcoin strategy or not? In fact, Metaplanet, which is in Japan, they started enacting that Michael Saylor strategy where they've starting to make huge allocations to Bitcoin to hold it on their balance sheets. And now they are the number one stock in Japan. We see what Michael Saylor did since they started acquiring Bitcoin about 4 years ago. And now with the best performing stock out there, they're up over $8 billion. Whereas Michael Saylor was laughed off Wall Street when he initially brought it up. The best is right now, just yet to come. So let's stay positive despite any of this chop. We're about to see some massive inflows coming into this market. In fact, this is what I was talking about, $40 million of Bitcoin a day for the next 1,095 days, $100 million Bitcoin a day for 300 days straight. There's only $31 million worth of Bitcoin that's produced daily. And that's at the price that we're at right now. So there's a huge supply shock coming. And the question is, are you here ahead of it or are you behind it? So shout out to everybody that's here. And again, I shared this chart. There's a chart that I made from an on-chain data metric that I created about two years ago or so. And I was discussing this sort of channel that's in these basically Fibonacci, they're Fibonacci extensions of the realized price, which is how you get these bands. And we see a rejection here, come down and support right here on the this bull floor band. See this? Find support right here. Also the short-term holder cost basis. We made another attempt at beating on that bull control band. Rejection. Once we broke through it, parabolic trend. Rejection, accumulation, broke through, parabolic trend. Okay, rejection, support, accumulation. Is this what's up? next. I do believe we are so close to, guys, we're going to be smelling the daisies soon. We're going to be sitting on beaches together. We're going to be changing our lives, buying our mother's houses, being able to be more philanthropic, having more free time to act on our passions because you're not a slave to the dollar that's being printed away. That's what I'm in this for. I like playing music, but this was I played music professionally for 20 years. This is such an opportunity, and I've been involved in crypto since 2016. I had to take advantage of this opportunity and focus here now so I can focus on whatever the hell I want to later. And we're doing this together, everybody. We got about 500 people in the room. Shout out to each and every one of you. Make sure you're hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, and dinging the bell. And remember, we are doing a giveaway today. We do it every week. But if you want to participate in next week's giveaway, come here, hit that retweet button right here on the page, hit that like button. Alexander G posted it there in the live chat. This is how you enter, and we're going to be doing that drawing here in about 20 minutes or so. So big love to everybody that's here on a daily basis and participating. Now, continuing on, what will drive the market up this week? Demand for coins among short-term holders. Donald Trump's victory, will that be bullish? And everybody's got a big question mark of if Kamala Harris wins. I think the bigger question here isn't which one wins. The bigger question is, what is the process going to basically play out to over the next 3 or 4 days? Will we have a decision tomorrow night? If not, every day that we don't have a decision, and maybe there's a decision, but it's contested, and so it's all limited or halted, that will throw the markets into a very choppy, uncertain zone, which will drive prices down in the near term. So just be aware of that. Let's be honest, nothing that we see has been done in our government in the last 10 years has been shown to be effective by any means. So will we get a result tomorrow? Plan accordingly to not fall victim to the emotional trades that are likely to come in the next 2 or 3 days. But and of course, the other one was the Fed's decision to lower the key rate by 25 basis points. And this is what we're looking at right now. The demand momentum, we've kind of popped up here, but it is rolling over just a little bit at this zone right in here. So we got to pay attention to what's happening right in this zone, because if this does have a pretty significant pullback, then we're getting a decrease in demand. And if there's less demand drives the cost of everything. If you have a decreased demand, then there's not as much buying pressure. Therefore, prices tend to fall. So we need to pay attention to that. And then, of course, again, just remember, everybody, before we do jump into some TA here and looking at what's going on in the markets, make sure you're protecting yourself in this market. Head over to nordvpn.com/BitLab. If you do that, nordvpn.com/BitLab, BITLAB, you can sign up. It's like $2 or $3 a month. It's so incredibly cheap, but you can also get 4 extra months for free if you sign up through our link, and make sure you're protecting yourself with all the different illicit activity and scamming and identity theft and hacking of your crypto and hacking of your bank accounts. All that can be protected and mitigate some of that risk if you head over to nordvpn.com/BitLab, and you're helping show some love to the channel. Now, this is what we're looking at. Let's dive into it. And what is it? We got this fair value map, basically the Bitcoin value map from the Bitcoin strategy platform, Rational Roots platform. This middle band right here, you see, is a fair value. It was back in March when we had that initial push to the upside. That band was at 58,534. It is now, let's zoom in just a touch. Looking right here, fair value band is now, it's not too much higher, about 58.6. So we found some support on this twice. This is trying to make its way to the next band, which is up here about $87,000. That is that next sort of resistance level on this chart. And remember, charts all weigh different types of metrics and values and so on and so forth. But we can see once this found support on the fair value band, it never really broke below it. It just found that as support until it went parabolic. In this case, we broke above it, never found support though. Finally, boom, COVID economic shutdown. Once we broke above it, hovering right at support, broke up, came right back down, support, launch. Now we're sitting kind of doing the same thing, trying to figure out which direction the certainty is going to allow us to go. But remember, we have one $0.4 trillion that's about to be injected into a stimulus package in China that's starting November 8th, which is later on this week as well. The global liquidity cycle is on the uptick right now. We have seen that historically, when we've seen these price swings, let me show you the year-over-year change. When we've seen these, the swing in global liquidity, when it moves to the upside, see this? This is showing the rate of change, this darker blue line. When this finds its bottom, higher low, starts to break out. Look at where this is related to Bitcoin price action. This was a sharp increase, front running that basically fuel to come back into risk assets to have that move to the upside. Does that mean there is no downside? Absolutely not. In this 2016, 2017 bull run, we had 8 moves of about 26 to 40% or more dips on the way up. So you got to pay attention to where we're at in the cycle, what's happening with global liquidity, and realize that even right here, look at this sharp uptick way before we had that move here. We had a little bit of a move up, a little bit of a pullback. Is this kind of retesting previous range highs? We know that there's a huge plan for those trillions to come in from China, let alone we got the rate cut. We're going to start seeing stealth quantitative easing, basically buybacks and all these things and whatnot here in the U.S. as well. We see how bad and underwater the banks are here in the U.S. with basically unrealized losses and liabilities. It's about 17x worse than what we saw leading into the 2008 economic sort of crash catastrophe that we had, which is where Bitcoin was born from. It was that collapse and mismanagement of funds and the bailouts and all that Satoshi Nakamoto outlined was one of the major impetuses for them to basically develop and roll out Bitcoin as an option because it's agnostic to all that nonsense. So I do think once we start getting this global liquidity coming back up, and we can see it right here, just kind of retesting these levels, if this does round out and we start to get that uptick, I do think all things, all signs, all signals are suggesting everything that we've been waiting on is here. What are we going to do about it? Now, continuing on, we've talked about that. Let's look at the liquidity, where the liquidity is in the market. Now, you saw that. I just refreshed this because this was here. I had it up about 2 hours ago, and I was going to talk about the Bitcoin price coming down to scoop this liquidity. I just refreshed it after 2 hours, and look, we did exactly that. We ran right for that liquidity, that hot zone. And this is a lot of people going long, leveraged long. Why is this below? Because when you're leveraged long, if the price moves down into basically liquidation zones for which your margin cannot support, then you are forced to close that leverage long by selling and going short. And so this is what happened. Boom, free liquidity, cleared this out. Is this starting to give us a little bit of clearance to move to the upside? Well, I don't think that's necessarily the case at this exact moment. I think regardless, I'm not even trading today and tomorrow because there's too much, not only uncertainty, there's too much volatility around the possibilities of the various stories and the allegations and everything that's going on with the various polls that are coming out and all that. And that's going to have a huge impact on people's sort of action plan and how they're navigating what's going on in this market. But as it stands right now, we cleared this liquidity. We got a little bit more down here into 67,000, but I don't think this is enough to really suck us down. If anything, we have this node right here at 68.4 and then a bit more liquidity that's stacked up here, basically 69 up to 69.5. So we got to pay attention to that. In fact, I mean, what would that be? 69. See, look at this. We're coming down 67. I mean, maybe we could come down to the 60, 66, 7 sort of range, but we got all this red here on the chart, on basically the dashboard for the various bullish, neutral, or bearish signals within the BitLab trend fuel here. We got the RSI angle down, stochastics angle down, and look at this pretty large divergence. Both the purple line and the orange line, this is stochastics, orange, purple line's RSI. Both of these are angled to the downside, meaning see this top here and this top here on the orange line, but similarly, we can see on the RSI even a slight divergence there. And in the same time frame, we see the price action was pushing up very high. This is saying price is trying to run, but the strength underlying it is not there, signaling that we're likely going to reverse. And we've been talking about this. I've been sharing this in the Discord. I've been talking with you all about this on the live streams. But I was sharing charts over the Friday and Saturday afternoon and evening. This sort of action plan map that we've been watching. Price action, look at this, came right up to this, rejected, came right to this next line, which is this previous range high, bounced initially, and now it dropped. And I outlined this. We can even go back, switch it back. Let's see where it is at. So many, with such an active community in our, right here. I said, so I pointed out here on Friday, expect some chop this weekend. Tuesday is the election, the outcome, and the subsequent final decision, and if delayed or not, will have an impact on price. Watch these levels. If we lose 67, we're looking towards 65.5. As it stands, this is just meant to frustrate you. So at this point, I was saying if we lose this, we're coming down into this zone, and this is essentially exactly how this is played out. So it lost that zone. There's another one. Yeah. So, and then I talked about here, boom, and now it's kind of bounced right here at this level. Will we get a sweep a little bit lower? So this is that same chart. Now look, we're coming down, looking like we're losing this right at 67.5. What did I say? But this is, I don't want to say final nail in the sand. This is the final super bullish nail in the sand, because yes, even if price action reverses and comes down, this is not necessarily bearish. In fact, when you're hoping for a bullish continuation and strength in markets, you want to see that rise, retrace, continuation. Now, we're getting that retrace and we're testing back. This is ultimately where we want to watch right here. This 65.5 is kind of this low. So if we break below this, and we're kind of having a struggle bus of the current narrative, because this is higher low, higher low, higher low. If we come and break below this, maybe it's a bear trap. I think regardless of the pattern on the chart, I think we are in for a very emotional trading session between today and tomorrow into Wednesday. So let's pay attention to that. In fact, we've seen other things too. You know, on this altcoin portfolio that I've been trading and stacking into and showing you guys since February, the one I've been sharing with you all. This is up, it was up to $95,000 last week, and now it's back down to 90. But remember, this is a position portfolio, so I am not actively trading this. Our whole goal with this was to pick a basket of different altcoins and hold it into a good part of next year so we could take profits and reduce our capital gain exposure. Basically the income tax on, if you're holding it short-term held, that's income if you take those profits. If you hold it past 1 year, then you basically get to mitigate a huge tax responsibility. So Chainlink, oh, okay, it's down a little bit. Wow, our average entry is at 14. Remember, it was much higher before, but I've been stacking into this. So we've brought down this average entry, but the price is down to 1028, which is a price that we've been talking about here. BitTensor, Tau, down to 418. Aerodrome, almost down to $1. Ondo, 59 cents. We've been seeing some opportunities arise in this market. And we come down here to look at this. Link, we talked about this. We talked about this very simple sort of symmetrical triangle that we were in. This key level right here at 10, if this were to break down, we were watching for a tap around the 1030, 1025 area. We are at it now. So the question is here, I'm actually going to draw a zone right here, a little zone defense right there. I'm going to go ahead and delete this line so it's not too, there we go. And I'm basically drawing this from this low to these bounces, and we're coming right into this zone. If we lose this zone, then we're looking at coming down for another opportunity down here at 937-ish on the charts. Now, let me make sure I didn't miss any super chats or any gift. Okay, I just want to shout people out when they do that. Sometimes I get distracted. I don't pay attention. But we're still, despite any of this, look at this. We basically defined a sort of sideways range we're in right now. So yes, we've broken out of this to the downside. If we lose this, I'm watching for a 937. If we push back up at this level, watch for a potential breakdown confirmation versus a break back into the zone, meaning breakdown confirmation like this versus a break back into the zone, find support, and then continue to chop in here before we get a move. We are in a very contentious time frame because of the election tomorrow, because of the certainty of it's going to be affirmed or not, because of the rate cuts, because of the various different economic news that's coming out over this week. You got to either sit on your hands or come up with an action plan and act on the plan. Don't act emotionally because it's moving and it triggers a feeling. Shout out Green Day Profits gifting 1 BitLab membership. Big love to you. Tricky 429 got it. It's either tricky or turkey. Maybe you're a tricky turkey. I don't know. But guys, I'm so bullish on Chainlink. And actually, let me pull that up real quick. Check this out. SBI, DH, and UBS Asset Management have officially completed a pilot using Chainlink CCIP to streamline tokenized fund operations. To facilitate cross-chain communication with the tokenized fund contract, SBI Digital Markets created a digital transfer agent smart contract leveraging Chainlink's industry standard cross-chain interoperability protocol. That's what CCIP stands for. So major institutions now, just like so many others, Swift, and the list is ridiculous how integrated Chainlink is. And we're seeing nonstop integrations on major levels for what's happening with Chainlink. So we see price breaking down, and I see this long-term fundamental development of bullish support. Guys, this means opportunity. When you see incredible fundamental developments while the price is breaking down because there's some weak ass hands out there going, it's not going up. I'm going to say no. And I'm not telling you ever to buy or sell. I'm just outlining what I'm seeing and what's going on. We also see Ethereum, kind of flirting with the breakdown. Kind of flirting with the breakdown of this zone. So where do we look? Let's outline our possibilities. Right in here is where we're looking. Why? Bounce, little support. So this is where I'm looking. If this comes down, then we got to see if it's a confirmation, then breakdown, because we are getting a bit of bearishness here. But I think there's so many things outlining the majority of what we're going to see. If we do see downside price action and there is certainty that comes in, this will prove essentially to be a basically shakeout, final sort of bear trap before continuation to the upside. If we see a breakdown and then, one election result versus the other, or an uncertainty about what the decision is, or a major contesting of results and all that, then we may see better opportunity to the downside. And for those of you that aren't actively trading this, that just may mean you need to sit on your hands a little longer. And we can also look at the ETH to Bitcoin chart, making new lows. We are outside of this basically falling channel that we've been in since September, I think 2022. Yeah, back all the way back here, August 2022. Downward trajectory, support, breakdown, confirmation of the breakdown, information, boom, shot to the downside and lost this channel. So this is looking rather bearish for the Ethereum to Bitcoin pairing. This means it's performing, Bitcoin is holding better than Ethereum is. This is either going to prove to be that Ethereum's getting less left in the dust because of all these other layer 1 and then also layer 2 solutions out there that maybe are newer, shinier, maybe they're faster, maybe they have lower fees. But on the flip side of that, this could also prove to be setting up for a great opportunity zone for Ethereum. The question is, where does your conviction lie? And what types of things are you looking at when you're investing? Are you just investing and buying and trading things because you heard about it on a YouTube channel? That's not a strategy. If somebody if I bring up a coin or somebody else that you're watching brings up a coin, don't let that be ever a reason to buy. Say, okay, it's on my radar. Let me go do some diligence on it, understand the token supply, understand the team, understand fundamentally what they're doing. If it's a DeFi protocol or a smart contract platform, look at the TVL, the total value locked, and the movement on that, and the volume, and the fees generated, so on and so forth, because I still think Ethereum is going to perform rather well this cycle. This is just proving to really just be bleeding out, and it's usually the darkest before the dawn, everybody. Avalanche, also breaking down, and we saw this break out, tried to find confirmation, little bit of weakness here, and this is that confirmation breakdown. Look, broke down, came up into the zone, got rejected at the previous support. Now it's moving to the downside. Right now it's kind of in a key level. If we lose this, then we have to look for the next leg down, and that is this level right here, is right inside of this. I mean, we can even make this bigger. Come right here, look at this. kind of in this zone, but rejection, support. We're coming right into the, if we lose this level, then the next level we're looking at is right in this zone right here, down the low 20s. And I outlined this last week. So is this frustrating in the near term because you want to just see your portfolio be up? Sure. But that means you're looking at the wrong things that are only going to trigger your emotions, man. We're here to make some money. We're here to do it over time. And so we can have a sustainable growth in our portfolios and profits into next year. So if this does break down, remember this altcoin portfolio, we have we got almost $7,000 worth of avalanche in this portfolio. It's down a little bit. Okay. If I get a little bit more capital in my hands in the next week or so, I might be adding to this. If this does come down here into the low 20s, girl, you must be crazy if you don't think I'm going to be buying. Solana also, it's coming right back. We talked about this at the beginning of last week when this came up into this zone. Into the weekend last week. You see this, and then boom, rejected back down. Where's it at right now? It's not necessarily bearish yet because all we've done is push up to a known resistance zone. See? Rejection, rejection, rejection. And now we're breaking right back down to the neckline of this ascending triangle with a flat level of support, rising support with a flat level of resistance. Now it flipped to support. Will this support hold? If this falls, fails through at 159, roughly 159, then we're looking for down here to 149. And if we lose that, then we're likely coming back here into the 120s. That shouldn't frustrate you. It shouldn't frustrate you. You should see this as the last throes of opportunity before the market just melts to the upside. And it's whether it's in November, December, or maybe a year from now. You never know what can happen in markets because of the geopolitical tensions going on, because of the questionability on both sides of what's happening in the election and the certification of that. What's happening with, guys, you've got to be prepared for anything. Do not go out there and trade your rent because you see a YouTuber out there talking about a trade setup. Oh, well, I think this is going to happen, so I'm going to throw my rent in. I'm going to double it, then I'll pay my rent. Don't do that. Use capital that doesn't put your life at risk, doesn't put your budget at risk, doesn't put your debt at risk. Be smart because we have a little bit of work to do. It feels like it's taking longer than it should, but when you zoom out, you realize we're right on pace for where we should be. Continuing on, let's look at some more Ondo. Breaking down, look, lost the level that we had outlined, bounced on it, giant, just kind of bearish pattern here. Broke down where? Right into this zone of these previous range lows. If this goes further, we might get a better opportunity down here at this low, boom, right here in the 55 cent mark for Ondo. Frustrating, right? It's frustrating if you're not patient. If you're patient, you're like, wait, you're telling me I was excited when price was up here at $1.48. Where we're at in this market and what is likely going to come, this should thrill you that you have the opportunity to allocate here. And if you have nothing on the sideline, then this process of what's happening right now should be indicative to you. It should be eye-opening to you to outline that you should always make sure you plan for anything. Got 2 years worth of income in this crypto market. I'm either going to the moon or down with the boat. Hey, listen, I am so far overexposed. I can't even tell you. But that is a perception entirely on what overexposed is. My mother, for instance, I got her to invest in MicroStrategy because she didn't really think it was super tied to the Bitcoin thing. She thinks she still doesn't get Bitcoin. So to her, if I had $10 in Bitcoin, that would be overexposed. So let me tell you, I've got a lot more than $10 invested in the crypto ecosystem. In fact, it's probably up where in the 90 percentile of everything that I have is in crypto because I understand these markets, and I do. Because I have that understanding and where I think this is going, I figured if I'm talking about this on a daily basis, I need to put my money where my mouth is. I do not recommend that for any one of you, because there is some heightened stress due to that, because every swing has a huge implication about what's going to happen in the future. But listen, I'm here for it. I know you're all here for it too. I want you all to make sure that you protect yourself, take advantage of opportunities, but do it in a way like I'm a single man, got no kids, got nobody else to support. I'm retired from the military. Okay. I got hurt. Some of you might be new here. I broke 22 bones and I've had about 85 surgeries from 2 different motorcycle accidents, one of them being 2003 when I was in the Air Force. Medically retired me. I get paid for life from that. Technically speaking, I don't really ever need to have a savings account because I'll always have the ability to pay rent and other things. But that also gave me the backdrop to go after and do whatever it is I want. And I've taken it seriously. I've done some crazy things in my life, wonderful things, from touring the world as a DJ, touring nationally as a singer-songwriter, writing books, hosting radio shows on Sirius Satellite Radio, went back to school, studied anthropology at Columbia University. I've done a lot of things. And it's not that I'm super productive and I had a backdrop of having my rent paid from that medical retirement that I decided. I was like, other people have 4 jobs and go after passions. I have no excuse. If I have the backdrop of my rent paid and I have that safety net, there's no excuse not to go after what it is I want to do. So I got involved in crypto in 2016, put half of everything I earned into crypto back then. Dove into 80, 100 hours a week of just studying crypto and trading. And I was already trading before that, but I was doing that all along while I was also traveling and touring and doing DJ stuff. And when the pandemic happened, I decided to just switch sort of careers. I still play music. I just don't do it, 6 days a week and tour, play festivals. I just DJ at crypto conferences. And every once in a while, like I'm going to New York this coming weekend to DJ a big event there that's from the music scene thing. But I focus entirely on crypto now because this is the opportunity of our lifetime. And so I put my money where my mouth is. I spend all my time on it. Do I feel a little bit like my life's out of balance? Yes, but the speed in which this industry is moving, every day that you take a misstep in this market and ignore it, if you're new and you don't dive into further education, every dollar that you're not allocating appropriately in your life, whether it be to a cheeseburger or some random thing you don't need or into crypto, could be a $10,000 difference in the coming months, even, let alone several years. I am here for it. I love you guys. I appreciate you. That's why I do this on a daily basis. Sometimes I get a little burnt out, but I've been rebuilding a little bit of the back end of the team here so that I could be here with you more, so I could be with you all on the member streams. And we're getting so many things set up for all this. And we got that, of course, the full BitLab Academy, by the way, once we break back over $74,000, $75,000, that deal is going away. Head over to lab.bitlabacademy.com/deal. Again, that's lab.bitlabacademy.com/deal. Sign up, you get 15 days free, and you also get about 35% off for the life of your account. If you want to upgrade and get the BitLab indicators, as well as 120 different lessons and courses, from on-chain data to technical analysis to candles to patterns to strategies, it's all in there. You just got to sign up there and, upgrade if you want that. But big love to each and every one of you. I just wanted to represent that to make sure you guys are getting involved. But we got a lot of member streams coming, and I got some special guests lined up as well. And if you just want the member streams and not access to the Discord and all that, you can sign up here on BitLab as a BitLab member on this channel. And it's an incredible way. You guys have no idea how much that helps support the efforts of what we're doing here and making sure we can pay some of our back-end staff. And because it's not, I'm on here on a daily basis, but we also have different charts and graphics and social media. There's a lot that goes into doing what we're doing here. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. Let's look at some more charts before we go. Ondo, guys, I'm so bullish on Ondo this cycle. Near protocol, remember, they got some big things coming up. But do you notice a trend on everything that we've looked at? Link, down, Avalanche, down. Does it mean there's an issue with these assets? No, it means everybody's following that risk narrative that's being signaled by Bitcoin. So once Bitcoin takes off, I want you to know, when Bitcoin takes off, it's going to probably leave some of these altcoins in the dust for a short period of time because it's going to be questionable. All the horses are going to be piling into Bitcoin. It's going to run. You're going to see dominance go up even further. Maybe it goes up to 61, 62%, which means your altcoin portfolio might go up some, but Bitcoin is going to be running faster for a short period of time. And that's when, shortly after that, sometimes it takes 30 days, sometimes it takes 45 days. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out because we have individual narratives in this market this cycle with AI, with DePIN, with gaming. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. So we got to be nimble, but just be prepared for a little bit of movement happening in Bitcoin first because it signals and then the confidence comes and then all the capital flows, a lot of capital flows into altcoins. Falco gifting 5 memberships to the channel. Big love to you. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. I do really appreciate it. But let's continue on. What else we got? Tau. I mean, this was signaling it up here. We talked about that. The bearish divergence. See these down? The RSI, the 2 peaks. All 3 peaks really, and then the stochastics, this peak. In the same period, this was up, this was further up while the signals, the gas light in the car was coming on. And then we got the VWAP is under the 0 line. If this starts to push back above this, that'll be a good signal. Are you doing your giveaway today? I am. I'll be doing it, and I'll do 2 more charts, and then we'll get into it. Render. We haven't looked at Render in some time, but we had this sort of rising support level, lost it, came up, rejected on it, and now look where we're at. We're actually in an interesting spot because we have this trend line right here that we're sitting right on top of. If we lose this, then I do think we may have some blood down here into the mid 3s for Render. But I'm super bullish on Render for the bull run when it really kicks into gear. But that means if this is lost, that means we have an opportunity to lower our average entries. If you're position or longer term holding, if you're trading, then I'd be waiting for this to, sort of lose this and you potentially short, but I'm waiting for a pretty strong V-shaped recovery on a lot of assets once this market. I mean, look at this aerodrome telling you it might be breaking down. Why? Shoulder, head, shoulder. This is a head and shoulders. Remember, head and shoulders. These are head and shoulder patterns. You have the price action up. The bulls tried. The bears bring it back. The bulls tried, the bears brought it all the way back, and the bulls couldn't try as hard here. This is showing a shift in momentum from a bullish narrative to a bearish narrative. And then once you lose this neckline, that's when it's confirmed. So currently, we do not fully have a head and shoulders. We have the formation of a potential head and shoulders. If we lose this sort of area at $1.04, actually it's a little lower, about $1. If we lose this, then we may be seeing a target down here in the 71 to 73 cent zone for aerodrome. So let's keep our mind and our wits about us. Let's stay positive. Now, everybody, head over before we do the giveaway right here on at Academy BitLab or at Kelly Kellam. Again, that's Kelly Kellam. Head over there, hit that retweet button, hit that like button. It enters you to win. But let's go ahead and do it. We got 7 and 22 were the 2 numbers that you guys picked. This is truly random. You guys picked these numbers. So let's do 22 divided by 7. Okay, 3.14, that's 3, so we'll round down. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, that'd be Wednesday last week. We're picking, what was Wednesday last week? Wednesday last week was the 30th. So let's go ahead and look at the 30th, and this will be for one Arculus wallet sent out. I got some new merch coming too. I'm going to start giving out, and we're going to be doing some USDT stablecoin giveaways here very soon as well. What was it? The 30th we're looking for? I tweet so much. All right, let's see. Where are we at? 30th. Here we go. Where are we at? Let's find it. $22. All right, view engagement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, no, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Alexander G, you're in the chat. I know I tried to give you an Arculus last time. Let me know. Do you want me to send you another Arculus? Last time you said to give it away, so I'm giving you the option. You tell me right now, and if it's not you, then it's going to be Clint here. So you let me know, and we will make that happen. Either Alexander G or Clint will get this. Big love to all of you, and thank you guys for supporting the channel, for the super chats, the gifted memberships, the people that are already members. So many of you have that beaker next to your name filling up. Some of you turning blue. Those get full and change colors the longer you're a member. So big love to each and every one of it. Got it. Well, spin it again. That means it goes to the next one. Clint, I'm going to go ahead and follow you, Clint, and let you know you won an Arcus. I will connect. Hit me up. Let's connect so I can send it out. Boom. All righty, guys. Everybody, I had a wonderful stream with you guys. I hope you had a wonderful day. Let's stay positive. We got a lot of stuff going on the next couple days. Expect some opportunities to present themselves. Shout out again to all the channel partners right here from CoinW to nordvpn.com/BitLab and Arculus, getarculus.com and use a code BitLab if you want to get that. The links are in the description directly below the video. Also, if you're watching on Twitter, directly below the video, you'll see a comment with those with that data, but it's right here. Join our free traders group. Come and sign up here. You get free bonuses depending on what you're depositing, what you're trading, all that. And through this, you also get access to our Telegram group where there's just nonstop charts and all kind of things in there. But I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. We got to we're going to continue on for 5 minutes because I do see somebody in the wings. I didn't know that he was here, but we got about 5 minutes. We'll bring on and get the word of the house. Mr. Dex, what's up? I was just wrapping out and I saw you sitting there.
Yeah, no, man. I just wanted to pop in and say what's up to everybody. I wasn't able to make it earlier, but I have been tuning in here and there when I had the I just had taken my daughter to school, so I had a few moments. But I wanted to hop in and just say this is a very, very, very important time. I could not express how much importance lies on what we have lying ahead of us as far as the election. So I just wanted to come on and hop on and encourage everyone to go out there, cast your vote, whatever it is, whatever you believe in, and stay strong. This market is about to surprise us beyond belief. I am super excited to see what happens. And I really just wanted to come on and say hey to you, hey to the fans out there, BitLabbers, and man, I just can't wait to see what happens over the next 24, 48 hours.
So question for you. First off, thank you for being here. You're always such a gem here with the community. Are you going to kind of sideline it a little bit the next couple days because of how unpredictable things are? Are you going to trade? Are you in any trades?
I'm definitely on the sides right now. I'm eyeing some things, but I would like to see a trajectory that's a little bit more in a direction that I can be certain of. I'm not much of a scalper. There are opportunities to scalp and get in and out real quickly, but I personally want to see a nice solid move. Whatever direction it is, I would like to take advantage of that because if I just, play something and I'm not 100% now, if you are feeling like you want it to go long, say perhaps, I'm thinking we get a positive outcome, then placing a long with a decent stop loss is not a bad idea, not financial advice. And if you're feeling the opposite, a short as well. So you can play both sides of the fence. You don't have to wait until something is happening. You obviously can place your orders if you're in the futures market and play that way as well. I'm thinking about probably placing a trade before anything massive really starts to occur. Now, actually, I'm just thinking about it now, but I have been on the sidelines.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm kind of waiting with a couple levels in mind. I'll be dropping those in the Signals Lab Telegram group and also BitLab Discord for anybody that wants those. But we're gonna be keeping it real. I got Thinking Crypto coming on tomorrow, everybody. So we're gonna be talking on the live stream tomorrow. But it's gonna be interesting. I feel like we're living in the most ridiculous reality show of our time right now. It's just like, what the it's crazy. I restarted watching last week. I restarted watching maybe 2 weeks ago, House of Cards, and it's so bizarre because all this nonsense is happening in the background of House of Cards of them, as they're like, oh, hey, on camera, but then they're like, fuck this, like just stabbing each other in the back, jockeying, doing, illegal. It's just I can't help but be like, there's some stuff going on in the background right now. It's gonna be like I'm not necessarily worried about who's going to win. I'm more worried about if there's uncertainty going into next week still, and we still don't have a decision. I think that will spell a pretty big pullback in markets. Do you think that may happen, or how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, anything goes. It's funny because we're even at a point to where even if, say, Trump gets elected, Kamala gets elected, there's still bullish and bearish sentiment for both situations. And then there's always the sell the news, right? So there's always a case that's bearish because of sell the news. But then at the same time, this is the way I see it. The market and the overall encompassing main core the people that are providing liquidity, they're gonna want to basically, in my experience, do whatever we don't think is gonna happen or the least likely of what we think is gonna happen. If we want it to go up and everyone's bullish, say Trump does get elected, and we're expecting this big uproar in the market, and then we might just see a downturn. So it's like it's really hard to say, especially with uncertainty. If we have more uncertainty for an extended period of time, that can definitely bleed, especially altcoins. So that's not necessarily a bad thing, guys. Look, we want to have the best buy opportunities, and any bleeding in the altcoin market, anything that'll give us a discounted price, I go out there and I try to grab it the best I can. So I see where you're coming from, and I agree. I mean, uncertainty is the killer of percentage gain, I think, for sure.
100%, man. But I'm excited. It's going to be a good week. If anything, there's not going to be a shortage of content to talk about on these shows and in our private communities and on Twitter. And again, I want to echo, remember, let's not let that narrative play out that a lot of people are worried about. Regardless, if Donald Trump wins, regardless of if Kamala Harris wins, let's not this bleed into some sort of massive sort of issues with your friends and family because they voted one way
Mm.
and you voted another. No, screw all that nonsense. We got to come together as people because that's exactly what they're trying to do is divide everybody so you can't come together and push back against some of the nonsense that's going on the government level. Let's show love. Let's be great. Let's have gratitude. Let's remember we are ahead of 8.5 billion people in the world investing in this. And I don't mean ahead like it's a hierarchy. I mean, you all took the leap. You're here before institutions are really pouring in. They're just now starting to. So do not mess up this opportunity. We got a lot of super bullish things that are coming into the narrative over the next 2-3 months. So regardless of the direction of the outcome of this election, we got a lot to be grateful for. We got a lot of things that we can do and just to support and love our friends and family. But I think that's all we got today. Thanks for coming on, Danks.
Thanks for having me, boss. Good to see you.
Big love, everybody. And make sure this is his page, everybody. Make sure you give him a follow. He usually comes on for a longer segment on Mondays, but he's got friends and family and he's got to take his daughter to school. So I'm glad that you popped in here, and we'll see you again next time.
Thanks, boss. Take care. Love you
Uh,
all.
absolutely. Now, everybody, let's head over to Blockchain Basement and show some love. That's all I got. Adios, muchachos.